some news. You guys might not be following it, but I guarantee your girlfriend is. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds asked court to silence Justin Baldoni's lawyer. I got more headlines. Blake Lively, has a lawsuit going. The Raw and it ends with us scene. Justin claims it refutes Blake's sexual harassment claim. And another headline, Blake Lively rips Justin Baldoni for it ends with us video. Damning clip proves me right.
Well, I don't know. Billy, you do. This is your beat, right?
Yeah.
I will say this.
Glad you're here.
The thing about this story is whoever's speaking, I kind of believe them. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's right. Look at this guy. He's definitely nuzzling in there a little close. How creepy. You want to go in there while she's breastfeeding. And then you see like he shows the texts and he's like, no, she texted me, come in. He said, are you sure you're breastfeeding? She said, yes, come in. And you're like, well, what are you talking about? She set him up. I mean, I just keep ping-ponging back and forth between the two.
He kept a lot of receipts, and now he's showing them.
I agree. I know. So what happens
his lawyer
is
a beast. This guy, 179-page thing. This is like the most detailed lawsuit that Brian Friedman, who's represented all the aggrieved, has put out.
Well, I agree with you. Like, the first thing is, like, he went and talked to her personal trainer about how much she weighed, and you go, oh, man, that's not creepy. A good look. And then it's like, oh, but he had a horrible back issue and had to pick her up and didn't want to in a scene and didn't want to talk. Yeah. And then so that's the same as the breastfeeding one, right? He came in while I was breastfeeding. Right.
So he could practice on someone else, not be in the scene and go, oh, ow, my back. And then she says, I just had a baby. And then the whole thing falls apart.
Right. It's starting to look to me like the scales are tipping his direction.
Yeah. I would agree.
And people on TikTok are reading out the whole indictment all the court paperwork, and they're going, they're trying to paint a picture that she was being really, high maintenance and very terrible, and then went so far as to take Justin Baldoni's movie over, sort of. He picked this story up out of, he read the book and kind of committed to the project. Then she took it over with Ryan Reynolds' help. And then at the red carpet, they ended up sticking him and his family in the basement for the premiere. It's a whole thing.
The amazing thing is, the movie did really well. It made $350 million. It's
a good movie.
Oh, it did.
Why don't you guys you should never have gotten to this point. You should be making a sequel. Isn't it all about money? It's about money, right? Let me make a sequel.
Well, listen, Ryan Reynolds, I've said many times, F you money is good, but F me money is better. So like Elon Musk has F me money.
Oh, yeah.
So someone goes, you're going to buy Twitter, yeah. What do you think it's worth? $23 billion. What'd you pay? $45 billion?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot. Yeah, I got F me money. I want Twitter. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Ryan Reynolds has F me money, and they probably have F me money from his other endeavors in business, not to mention just what he's making.
Everything the guy does is a cell phone company, gin company.
Right. So they can go to war for no reason, even if it costs them a lot of money. But it also... I don't know Ryan Reynolds well, but I did do an episode of his TV show back when he was doing
Two
a TV show.
Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza?
Yeah, Pizza Place.
Okay. Whatever.
And I was the star of the episode. Well, I played myself in the episode. And he was there. And he was a very sweet guy. Very sweet guy, but this is pre-Ryan Reynolds blowing up. This is Ryan Reynolds on a sitcom that's, middle-of-the-road sitcom, not superstar Ryan Reynolds. And so I don't know if he's evolved into a different personality, but the young Ryan Reynolds on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place was just super nice, chillax,
Chris Pratt was on Parks and Rec. Look at him. He's every superhero.
Right.
He's in everything.
Yeah. So... this is starting to feel like, it feels like it's more her than him, Ryan Reynolds, and then more than Baldoni.
Yeah, the guy was second on the call sheet for Jane the Virgin or something, and now he becomes this director, and maybe there's this feeling that, they Bigfooted him and said, who are you? You're
that's what's going on TikTok. They're saying exactly that. And
Jane the Virgin
they're saying
guy?
even that they modeled the character Nice Pool after Justin Baldoni to kind of
Right.
troll him and make fun of him.
Well, he calls himself a feminist, and he wears the "I am a feminist"
Man
T-shirt,
bun.
and he's man bunning, and he's like, he's a little annoying as a
No,
guy.
he gave a TED talk. I'm so tired of dudes going, it takes a real man to cry. It takes a real man to admit he's a piece of shit. It takes a real. I'm like, fuck that. First off, we're getting into trouble because we got too many dudes turning into chicks. This is an issue, and also I just look at his just ass kissery of the highest order. These are the celebrities that get up there and they get Academy Award and they go, my 3-year-old daughter has taught me more about courage. Then it's like, oh yeah, right. Okay, shut the fuck up. And stop pretending that your wife is 10 times smarter than you or 10 times whatever. Just fucking knock it off.
But you're missing. There's an element here that's kind of juicy for people, and that is when Reynolds and Lively call Baldoni to their penthouse suite in New York. Her best friend Taylor Swift happens to be there that night, and she, the Baldoni suit alleges, heavy-handed him into taking Blake's rewrites. These are way better. Trust me, you should do this. And now you got Lively. You've got Reynolds and Swift. These are 3 giant.
Yeah.
And here's second on the call sheet at Jane the Virgin. Like, okay.
Right.
Who am I in this room? Who is anyone in that room?
That's why we kept you for the news, Bush.
I'm a newsman.
We got Zonka and James Van Praagh
wow.
next to each other, by the way, just so we can put that one to bed.
Why did I argue? Why did I
genius
argue? I don't know who's who.
It's gay, Larry.
You're
Zonka.
right.
That's
You're right.
the part. That's the genius.
Little happier.
That should be mentioned at the funeral. You know what I mean? It wasn't just that he picked Von Praagh.
It's Larry Zonka if he were in Pirates of the Penzance. It's
All right, we got enough. We've done enough. All right, yes.
Leave Larry alone.
Leave Larry alone. Yeah, good name for a sitcom.
We got some more news in the world of celebrity. Yankees legend Mariano Rivera and wife Clara deny covering up child sex abuse after a bombshell lawsuit. Yeah. Yeah, this is strange. 4 years later, after a sort of like church kind of camp, there was now a lawsuit that just came out for the sexual abuse of a minor in their Rye, New York, at a summer camp connected to the church.
Yeah, well, so there is a thing. Let me just warn everyone how stuff works sometimes, but not necessarily, but sometimes. I once gave 50 grand to a guy who was my director at the Acme Theater many years ago, after I became successful, to invest in his restaurant. And I never really suspected I'd get the money back, but that was fine. I was now successful, and I thought a lot of it was in part of the work I did in the Acme Theater, and he was the director, and so fine. So I gave him 50 grand, and he started a restaurant on the West Side. Some years later, I never got paid back, but some years later, I got like a thing, official lawsuit, lawyer, whatever, because some company that cleaned the tablecloths and did the linen didn't get paid, and they're suing, and they see my name on the thing, even though I have nothing to do with it. I gave him some money. He started a restaurant, but my name is somewhere. And when the lawyers are looking down the list, they find the name they recognize, and then they highlight that name, and they go, now go sue that guy. And I've got nothing to do with the restaurant or the linen company or who didn't get paid or any of this, but my name is on a list of somewhere, and I seem like maybe I have deeper pockets than the name they don't recognize, so then I get sued. Now, at some point, a news outlet could pick this up and go, Carolla sued because he's a deadbeat, because he refuses to pay, and now it's something, right? Now, I don't care. It didn't really happen. I mean, that did happen to me, but it's not a sexy story about paying a linen cleaning service. But if it had been a sexy story, then my name would have been over the salacious story, right? If a woman if one of the waitresses was sexually abused and or assaulted in the bathroom of the restaurant, then my name would be right next to the sexual assault thing, right? And that's just the way it works. So when you see stories like this, always take them with a grain of salt. Because we don't know if they're involved with it or it's the church they went to, and he's the most recognizable name on the list.
Yeah, it certainly appears that way because...
Well, hopefully he gets clear about it and steps up and makes sure that our hero remains our hero. There's no one greater than Mariano Rivera, the greatest of all time. We need our heroes. So, step up and make it clear. ASAP.
Yeah, he had a 19-year Hall of Fame career with the Yankees, winning 5 World Series and recording the most saves in MLB history.
The best.
The best.
Yeah.
There was none better than Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, it's not even about him. It's about
Eckersley was great. Great look, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mustache, long hair.
Yeah.
That was a good look.
Eckersley could get it done.
Yeah, until he ran into
He might have all 5.
Until he ran into Kirk Gibson. Yeah.
Trump tells Putin to end Ukraine war now or else. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. Yeah, President Trump warned his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, to end the war in Ukraine quickly or else face high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions.
You know what's weird? So funny. It's also insane how much stuff we get wrong. Like, remember, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years ago, when, or whenever 3 years ago, when he began this, Biden was like, well, listen, we're just going to sanction all the oligarchs. We're going to take away their yachts. We're going to take away their high-rise condominiums in New York City and their pro sports teams, and they're going to come. He's going to come and begging to us to end this war. It's like, all right, that sounds like a plan. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
nothing. He was telling us, and then when gas was $5 a gallon or eggs were $9, it was like, that's Putin's price hikes. Putin hiked our price of eggs? Yeah, he did. And I'm like, I want to always say to the Democrats, stop giving Putin so much power over us, would you please? He rigged the election. He raised the prices of everything. Like, we don't have dominion over him. He doesn't have dominion over us. Remember, he was real sick? Remember the stories of Putin's sick. Putin's dying. He's got a disease. He's not going to live much longer. That's why he's doing it. That's fucking... What do we get right about Putin? Do we get anything right? It's weird. We have CIA, we have informants, we have FBI, we have people who know about these subjects. Why is everything Putin wrong? Every Steele dossier, Putin election, whatever, wrong. 4 years of wrong. Then right into price hikes, and then probably will bring the oligarchs to their knees, and they'll put the pressure on Putin, and Putin's going to pull out of Ukraine once the oligarchs lose their apartments. Nothing.
Maybe
Nothing.
A Russian disinformation
and he's
campaign?
eternally 55. He's just the same age. He remains 55.
But the KGB go collect his poop. That was one of the things. They collect his poop so nobody can analyze it.
I assume...
Really?
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the story.
I would assume
look
Biden...
into that for me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Biden is lying when he's saying, Putin's price hike or oligarchs or we're going to shut him down. I'm sure he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's just talking. But I'm just saying... Our batting average on Putin is bad. We don't, in no way, shape, or form have been able to prognosticate any of the movements. And speaking of movements, and I think the only thing that works on that guy is a punch in the face. And so now that's coming.
So you think so? Do you think that this Trump will make a change?
He was supposed to take down the Ukraine in a week. It's been 3 years. We can say whatever we want about him right now. He's very busy.
I think that the reason there was hostage movement was Trump. I think internationally there's movement when Trump starts coming in. I think with Biden, and I think would have been with Kamala Harris, that the international crew just goes, it's kind of business as usual. We don't really need to worry too much about what's going on.
Trump is a bit like Putin in that you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a little, right?
That's what they respond to.
The wild man at the end of the bar.
Yeah, I don't want to test him. I don't know what he's going to do. Exactly, Rocket Man. I mean, with the nicknames haven't started yet. Wait.
I know, yeah. I'm waiting for nickname season to drop.
Well, I don't know if that's part of the 2.0 makeover.
What are you expecting at 2.0? How different are you expecting it than 1.0?
I think somebody got to him to the extent where they just went, this part of your game is not helpful. Like all the handles and tags on everybody and some of the late night tweeting and stuff. Like, he's down about 40% in the crazy rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Personal battle department, like in the middle of this. Like, the first version of him would go, look, there's Putin, there's Ukraine, there's what's going on in Israel, there's Iran. But first, I got to get to Rosie O'Donnell and settle her hash. That bitch. Yeah. That bitch is fat. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think somebody went, just a little less of that, a little more of the bigger picture stuff. But he seems to be doing.
He was president for 30 seconds before he walked into the adjacent room and said, all right, now all the things that they didn't want me to say, I gotta say. I think this guy's fat, this guy's short. I mean, he went right into this secondary room and started launching some bombs.
Maybe it was Melania, the unsung hero. She's like, Donald, stop.
She looks, by the way, like a different woman. She was smiling. They looked like a couple of kids on the dance floor at prom.
Yeah.
At the inauguration, she was laughing at his jokes. He was doing the YMCA dance with the sword, and she was like, look, my husband is so cute and funny. I was like, wow.
But she didn't
she's
have
warmed up.
The Darkwing Duck hat on, though. So it felt kind of strange.
Yeah, she did. You do a Melania?
I mean, Donald, why are you talking like this to everyone?
Shut up or you get the sword.
Please. Be nicer to your opponents.
And whatever shit Stackistan you're from, the sword is the number one weapon.
Don't smite them with your iron fist.
I'll use my sword to do my talking. You ever see that Remington commercial?
In CNN news, boss Mark Thompson confirms 200 layoffs across cable TV network in a digital push. 200 people are out of a job. Looks like on-air talent are secure because they have contracts, but a lot of the newsroom is going down.
Yeah, they have.
That's your business, Billy. What do you think?
Well, first of all, the ratings for CNN during the inauguration is one. Fox News has 10 million. They had barely 1.7 million people watching. It's kind of anemic there, and I think part of the push is for them to be a little less Trump resistance. But you can see they're all hamstrung. They've nothing. This is what they do.
Right.
I would say hang on to your resistance. Just from a strategy point, it's going to come around. Mm-hmm. Like right now, it feels like everybody's behind Trump. He got the popular vote, and there's a big wave and that. But like, you'll have your chance again. He's going to do some stuff. And
so, if you were to run CNN,
niche.
What would your strategy be to make it grow in ratings? Because news and entertainment are hand in hand nowadays.
Well, I think the last majorly innovative thing they did was put Larry King on. And that was a long time ago. And so it's just kind of the same thing. I would get all these boring people off that are just talking heads that have been around forever, who are just schlubby and unattractive and not interesting. Get them off.
So a hotter CNN.
Yeah, I would probably
sex it up a little bit. Like, give me some interesting people that I think, ooh, that's a cool person. I like that guy. I like that girl.
Yeah, go into the podcast world, go online, find some young people that have a motor, that are interesting, that have sort of takes, and let's revamp this thing a little bit.
Yeah, and Fox News is doing it. They put Will Cain on, who's he's now in the daytime, replaced Cavuto, who Your World with Cavuto now has this guy Will Cain, who was at ESPN, and he has a podcast, and he's down in Dallas. And so I think there's going to be a lot of repurposing podcasts or licensing them. Like, McAfee has a great deal at ESPN. That guy, $17 million a year, and he doesn't have to report to anyone. You put Carolla on. Let me tell you something. Carolla's not getting called into the news director's office.
Goddamn right, I'm
Send
not.
me the check. Send me the check.
I got FME money.